Hey everybody, this is Steve Young with ServiceTech Secrets, and today we have a success story that should knock your socks off. I want to thank Coral for joining us. Coral, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day and spending time with us and sharing your story. I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
Absolutely.
So if you would, just tell us who are you, where you're from, and what do you do? Starting out, if you don't mind.
My name is Coral Whale. I am from Colorado Springs, Colorado. I am a HVAC maintenance technician, and I work for One Source Home Service here in Colorado Springs.
Awesome, great. And how did you first hear about the Gene Slade training, and how long ago was that? How did you get in the industry, and then how did you hear about the Gene Slade training, if you don't mind sharing that?
Yep, I have been in this industry my entire life. My dad owned a construction company. I worked for an electrical company here in Colorado. I've worked for several plumbing and heating companies also, and I just fell in love with it. I started out being a dispatcher and just working with technicians every single day, and the vibe that I got really turned me onto the industry. And then I was lucky enough to find a company owner that took me on as a dispatcher, and I was out in the field selling service agreements and getting property management companies. And I've always excelled in sales. And so he asked me why I wasn't out in the field and if I would be willing to learn. This was about 6-7 months ago, maybe at this point. And so he trained me and taught me a little bit about HVAC, and I have kind of just ran with it since then. He decided to send me out to Detroit to see Gene and do his 4-day training. Absolutely life-changing, incredible stuff. Not just as far as product knowledge is concerned, but you just take away such a different look on life that you just bring back with you to wherever you're from. And if I didn't have that training at this point in time, I really have no idea where I would be. And then I ended up leaving that company and finding One Source.
So you wait a minute. So you were out of a job. How long ago were you out of a job?
Yeah, I was completely out of a job. I had no idea what I was going to do, but because of what I had done with Gene Slade in Detroit, I came back and my numbers just skyrocketed. So people here in my town kind of already knew about me and knew who I was. Plus I was already well known from being a dispatcher, and once they heard about me being out in the field, it was kind of a game changer at that point. So that's kind of where I found One Source and they found me, and we just came together. Well, it turns out that they were also doing the Gene Slade training, and I was getting ready to walk into it all over again. So not only did I get to go see him in Detroit, I got to be a part of about 20 team members who are all working together and running through the scripts, and just every Tuesday and Thursday watching Gene Slade. And my life, I mean, as a single mom, and all I have is my kiddo, and my life just took off to like, sky is the limit. I can't even describe what I'm doing out here right now.
So that's awesome. I'm super excited for you. I can just tell you that for sure. Let's talk about when you were at the other company. I mean, roughly what were you making on a monthly basis as a maintenance tech, service maintenance tech, right? Or is it service, or is it just maintenance?
It's hard for me to grasp just because our numbers weren't really ran right there, and we were doing like turnovers, and I was selling equipment at the same time, and I didn't really have all of the products available to me that we're selling right now. So even going through the Gene Slade training, I was still able to sell a Remy Halo on almost every call, things like that, air purifiers. There in pocket, I was maybe making, my biggest check was $1,700 in a 2-week period. So it was okay.
So $3,400, let's just call it even $3,500 at the old company. How you were doing things, it wasn't working out that well. You left that company, you came to the company. They were already with ServiceTech Secrets. And then your first month at that first company, what was your paycheck in the first month that you were there? Do you remember?
My paycheck was $20,000.
No. Your first month at One Source, it had to be really low, and then you kind of grew it.
Nope. Nope. It wasn't.
Okay. So you started at One Source. All right. You used the training from the Gene Slade training and the ongoing live coaching and stuff like that. You implemented, you're able to sell all the products that Gene talks about. Last month in December, what did you do in gross revenue numbers, if you don't mind? I know we're tracking two numbers, right?
Say that one more time, Steve. What did I do in my numbers?
Yeah, your
the
gross
first month
sales.
I started with one source.
Your gross sales last month, you did how much in IAQ?
And I'm looking at my service site right now, so give me just one sec. I'll show you guys some real numbers. Hold on real quick here. I did $102,000 in indoor air quality products only.
Okay. That is fantastic.
Yep. And then in equipment sales, we do the turnover process. So in equipment sales, I did a little over 85,000.
So all in all, you did about $187,000 in gross sales last month.
In my first month.
In your first month at the new company, yep, using the system that we're teaching at One Source, you, and so forth. And how much, yep, money did that net you at the end of the month? How much money did you make last month?
Last month I took home $25,000.
Let's do the happy dance together, right?
I know, right?
Woo,
I know.
so
it's incredible. It's incredible stuff.
So let's talk about, that was last month. Everybody's like, oh, it's a slow time of the year. Oh, you can't do what that, you know, all the different excuses and stuff. But let's talk about December, which is even notoriously a slower month of the year. Everybody's thinking holidays and so forth. Right now, today is December 30th. What are your numbers for this month? Total numbers, IAQ, and
well, knowing that I'm going to sell $20,000 tomorrow, we'll leave tomorrow out. And
okay,
right now, month to date, from the 1st to the 30th, I'm at 121,000 in indoor air quality.
Oh my God, that's a big knee slapper. I'm just sitting here.
It's crazy. You know, because the first month can always be a fluke, right? But I mean, you do it too, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and it's there, right? It's there.
Okay, so $121,000 IQ. What about your equipment turnover sales?
We always get those generated at the end of the month, but I do know that just because I'm in very close contact with my management team, I think, and I do believe I am right around $85,000 in equipment sales right now.
Okay, so again, about the same with the turnover equipment sales. And how much do you think, not including tomorrow's sale, because that's in the future, we just count up how much are we going to make this month compared to last month?
Well, we do have some new things going on with bonus structures and additional bonuses and things like that. I will take home $35,000 this month.
Oh my God, my mind just went go boom.
It's crazy.
So that sounds amazing, and everybody could be like, oh, maybe, you know, she's making this shit up. Who knows? But let's talk about how you got. What were the things that you did? And by the way, what's your average ticket right now? You've been through.
My average ticket is $5,442.
I'm sorry, say that again. I was speaking over you.
5,542 with the 55% close rate.
Wow. Okay, that is freaking fantastic. What would you say your 3 keys to your success have been, Coral? Of all the things that you're doing, what would you say if you would just choose the top 3 or top of the top 3? What would you say those were?
I would definitely say, well, first and foremost, it's definitely the training. Just the things that we learn about as far as indoor air quality and thinking about life in a different way and how you can help customers. Sticking with the training is first and foremost.
Okay.
Number 2 would be finding an absolutely incredible team that has your back no matter what, and that is willing to practice with you. I mean, when you go through the training, you are learning scripts, and you need to have these downs, and you need to have them down in the way that you talk to clients, and the way that you carry yourself, and the way that your company represents themselves. That is absolutely number 2. You have to find that team that you just really mesh with, you know?
And if you don't have that team, if people were to join the training as an individual, won't they be surrounded by those people inside of our group?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can literally reach out, and I do. I mean, you guys see how active I am in the masterminds group, because you know, that's our paid group and stuff like that. And then even if you get onto
SuperTechs.
the other group that's not paid,
SuperTech.
SuperTechs,
Right.
you see how active I am. You could just scroll down even just a couple of posts and see all my videos and stuff like that. But I could reach out to anybody in one of those groups. I have people that reach out to me across the nation in those groups, and I can't tell you the relationships that I have built and formed from within SuperTechs that it carries me wherever I need to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, it is really an incredible like brother sisterhood that we have going on here. So that is also first and foremost. But the other thing that I would say, my third thing would just be to have the drive. You know, not only do I train every Tuesdays and Thursdays in the SuperTechs, and I communicate with you guys on the groups, and I do podcasts and stuff like that, but I go home every night and I educate myself on the HEPA and the UV lights and how will it help this client opposed to this client. And I am constantly training. That's what I'm doing. It's the only thing that's going to make me better, and it'll probably help me retire by 45. So
that is fantastic. So number one, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, is the training. Showing up, participating, doing the training.
You have to. Like, why would you pay for something that you're not going to participate in? It
doesn't make any sense to me. Number two, surrounding yourself with not only a good company, but if you're stuck in a company, we have our group that you can surround yourself with like-minded people. That long time ago, I learned you're the sum of the 5 most people that you spend the most time with. And you're doing an amazing job. You found an amazing company, but you're also surrounding yourself online with amazing people. And then number 3, you said, is time under tension. Actually put in the work. You're going home and you're doing it, and you went from $3,500 a month in income to $35,000. That's a freaking 10% increase. I mean, not a 10%. That's like 100% increase. All right, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You've done, and you've all done it from those 3 things. You'd say mostly, right?
Yep.
Awesome. What would you recommend? What would you say to somebody who's thinking, you know, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I've got all these excuses, you know, all the, the reasons why they're going to still make 35. They're going to make $75,000. I mean, you're on track to do just the last 2 months. Let's just say it's 20 grand a month. It's not the 25 or the 35,000, but 20 grand times 12 months. We're looking at a crazy $240,000. That's $250,000 that you've learned how to produce for yourself. That's if you don't get bonuses. And
this was an easy month. Like I wait until AC season.
Right.
The sky's the limit at this point.
So what would you say to that person or that owner who's on the fence on whether or not, would this training really work for us?
All you can do is try. I mean, if you want to stay at the bottom, then you're okay with that. Then that's okay with you, and then that is okay with me. But I mean, that's not okay.
Because you're still going to be up here.
I mean, I don't care what they do, right? I'm still going to do this. And if it's not working for them, if they don't put up the dedication and the will and the drive to want to change their family, and not only that, but like what I do for my clients. I have testimonials all over the web. Today's my day off, and I'm in uniform because I just left a really good friend's house. She saw my testimonials and saw what I was doing for people and asked me to come over. I sold her AeroSeal, a 24-volt filter. We're getting UV lights going up in there. I got a water heater on that call. She's one of my really, really good friends, and I can go and offer these products to her now because I have the knowledge and the will and the want to help my clients.
Right.
So, I mean, if people aren't thinking that the program is worth it, I say, hey, give it a go, but you have to give it all you have. You can't just give somebody all of this money and then be like, make me a millionaire. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to go and put in millionaire work.
Right. I love it. I love it. So what do you say to those guys that say that HB Techs, and I don't like to be a pushy salesman. Is this kind of is this a pushy approach? Are you pushing things on the clients?
Say that one more time. I lost you.
I said, what do you think about those service techs out there that are like, oh, I don't want to be a pushy salesman? Are you teaching me how to be a hard pressure pushy salesman? Is that what this
No,
training is all about?
this is not hard pressure at all. This is 100% educating a client. That's all it is. I don't go in there and be like, you have to put a UV light in here. You have to have AeroSeal. Nobody has to have these products to make their furnace like run great, you know? I have learned that with the knowledge that I've gotten through my training and through my company, that I'm just able to educate them in such a way that nobody else does. And my clients look at me and they're like, why hasn't anybody talked to me about this before? Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't know about it, or I spend X amount of hours educating myself on these products that I can offer you.
Right.
I have never, ever been told that I'm a pushy salesperson. I don't have any reviews about it. All I do is I go in there, I educate about a product, and I ask them if they want it. If they don't want it by the end of my visit, I'm almost offended.
But you're not offended because they don't want it. They're offended that you probably didn't do a good enough job explaining.
I'm not offended that they don't want it. I'm offended that I didn't do a good enough job painting the bigger picture of like how I can change their life. And don't get me wrong, I've walked away from a couple of sales where they have called me back and they're like, I feel like an idiot. Will you please come back?
Oh, wow.
My husband's home now, and I really want you to explain this to him. I'll walk out with a $20,000 sale if I go back and talk about it again.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And at the end of the day, all we're really doing is we're educating by asking questions, and we're giving them options, right? Isn't that what you're doing? You're just giving them options. And when you do it that way, they just love you more because there's no high pressure. There's none of that.
You just build a list. You build a list, and they'll pick what they want, you know?
That's awesome, Coral. Well, look, I want to thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would say to maybe an owner? Like, let's say you're an owner and you've got like 4 or 5 techs right now, and you're trying to grow your company, and you're like, gosh, my guys may or may not want to do the training. You know, is there, for that owner on the fence, do you think this would help his company?
It's not their choice. If you're the owner of the company, it's not their choice. If you are trying to grow your company from being $1 million company to a $10 million company, and you're going to invest in this training, and your techs aren't doing it, they're being resilient, they're just giving pushback and attitude, get rid of the techs and find new ones that want to make $100,000 a year, because we're everywhere. Right?
I wish everybody would understand that. That's so awesome that you just said that. Yeah. And you know what's amazing to me is that your mind has went from, oh my gosh, you didn't know what you didn't know, right? I mean, you didn't know that this was even possible.
In the HVAC industry, it's crazy. Like, it's mind-blowing. Like, I have this conversation at least like 3 times a day with my coworkers or other people in this industry, and I'm like, we make more than doctors and lawyers, and I accidentally picked up a screwdriver yesterday and made $4 grand, and I didn't even mean to pick up my screwdriver. It was an accident, you know.
That's so awesome, Coral. I am so happy for you. I couldn't happen to a better person. I'm so excited for you. The sky's the limit. You're just getting started. Remember, you've only been in the training for a few months, and the more and more that you learn, the more and more work you put in, memorizing the scripts and so forth, and you're doing all the right stuff. So I'm so happy for your success. And I want to.
If anybody wants to reach out to me, I mean, a lot of people already know me from literally, you guys made me famous. You know, everybody reaches out to me, and I get texts and questions and hit up on Facebook every day. I'm not as busy as you and Gene are, but if anybody wants to reach out to me and hear me and my personal opinion about it, please do. Like, I'm 100% advocate as far as mastermind, super text, all of it is concerned. It's changed my life, as you can see.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, Steve,
for taking the time out of your day. I know we got New Year's Eve tomorrow, 2020. What do you think the outlook for you in 2020 is going to be?
The sky's the limit. I mean, I've paid off all my debt. I'm getting ready to buy a house. I just bought a new truck. Like, it's whatever I want to do, I guess, right?
Awesome. That's what I wanted to hear. That's fantastic. Coral, thank you once again, hon, for joining us. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day. Thank
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you inside the group.
Okay, bye, Steve. See ya.